Okay, good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is well. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Pav, and I'm a Senior Account Manager at Click IT. As many of you already will know, we are an IT support provider dedicated to charities and non-profits across the UK and beyond. We love helping organisations of all shapes and sizes, and we assist them to make the most of technology and to better serve their mission. Whether it's day-to-day support or cybersecurity and cloud migrations or website development and digital strategy, we're always here to help, and we offer lots and lots of free guidance and consultation. We do an incredible amount to give back to the sector in the form of AI events like today, webinars, and a lot of in-person events that we host as well. We'll have some information on those towards the end of the webinar today. So I'm really pleased to welcome our speakers for today's session. We have Taryn and Babak from PromptAI, one of our partners, who'll be leading us through this morning's webinar and discussing AI readiness and security recommendations and more. And over the next hour, they're going to be sharing practical advice on how charities can benefit from tools like Microsoft 365 and Copilot, boost productivity and reduce admin time, and stay secure while doing it. It's a great opportunity to explore what's possible and to get a clearer view of where AI fits within your organisation.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll kick us off with the agenda and then an introduction to us both and a bit about PromptAI. So we'll start with the traditional welcome and speakers, and then Taryn will talk about the rise of AI, which AI tools are right for your charity, why AI matters for charities, and then we'll demonstrate a case study of a charity that we've worked with in the past, how we helped them, what we did. And then we'll wrap up with some practical advice, which is the GCSE model for getting the best out of your prompts. So as I'm speaking, I'll continue. So my name is Babak Dami. I'm the co-founder along with Taryn. My background is behavior change, marketing and communications. And that's the role I play, not just for the business, but within the business, because communications and behavior change obviously are integral to the success of any sort of AI project that you might run. Taryn, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Babak. So I'm Taryn Nixon, co-founder of PromptAI with Babak, and my background has been predominantly in change management and user adoption. So naturally, the progression of my career has brought me into the AI space. So in essence, I help clients and people in business use AI tools and to understand how to use them and really get the benefits of them. A part of my career progression and co-founding PromptAI with Babak is that I'm also a freelance consultant at Microsoft. So I'm quite skilled when it comes to the Copilot space. So feel free to, this is an open discussion. If you have any questions, do ask on the chat as we go along, and we're happy to answer them at the end.
So I'll just spend 2 minutes quickly talking about who we are to set the tone before Taryn goes into the detail that we discussed. So one of the things that we wanted to share is our promise, which is that we like to work with young people that have come from a disadvantaged background to help them find experience and work, particularly around AI, but more broadly than that, marketing, sales, just so they can get a better understanding of what it is that they might want to do with their career. So this is a promise that we've made, and I'll go into detail how this lent into us meeting and working with the case study that we've got to show you later. So we're an AI adoption and training company that focuses on, the people side of change and the AI digital revolution. And what we do is we tend to help businesses, charities, organizations and their people to adopt AI for greater productivity, efficiency and effectiveness. So I'm now going to hand over to Taryn to discuss the rise of AI.
So if we could just go to the next slide, I really just want to show you how the speed at which AI reached 100 million users. And part of the next series of slides has come from the Microsoft Work Trend Index, and I'll describe that in a bit more detail. So, the days of Facebook, the internet, mobile phones, if we just click on how long did it take for that technology to reach 100 million users. And I believe, Babak, if you put next, so There you go. Mobile phones took 16 years to reach 100 million users. And then Facebook on the next, if you click next, sorry, was the internet, took 7 years to reach 100 million users. The next one is Facebook. So this took 4.5 years to reach 100 million users. And now if you think about AI, this took 3 months. So that is the speed and velocity at which AI is growing, which takes me on to our next slide. What we see is this research has come from Microsoft's Work Trend Index. So this is 2024 research, and Microsoft surveyed over 31,000 workers in 31 countries. They analyzed this data anonymously from tools like Teams, Outlook. They used LinkedIn Insights to track job and skill trends. They spoke with experts to understand what this really means in practice. And so the insights that they facilitated were grounded in real work data, which reflected how people across the sectors, including nonprofits, are adapting to new ways of working. So there are the key insights there, but just really to summarize this slide here is to say that essentially 3 out of 4 people globally are already using Gen AI tools at work. And most of them, which is around 78% of people across the globe, so most of those individuals, 78%, are bringing their own AI tools to work. So this is a term that we call Bring Your Own AI, and that is BYOAI. So I'll talk about the BYOAI. And what we find as well is that actually 2/3 of leaders actually prefer candidates with AI tools. So they'll look for that on like hiring and so forth. And they would hire someone with AI skills over someone more experienced, potentially without those AI skills. So this data is benchmarked in 2024. There is new data for 2025 about how AI has adjusted our working behaviors. And we can run another series on that and reflect on this if there is a requirement. So skills like ChatGPT and Copilot have grown 142 times in just 1 year is what we find. And leaders know that AI is essential. So leaders understand it can help you be competitive, but essentially there is no clear plan for how to use it. Enter individuals and consultancies like PromptAI. This is where we essentially facilitate and help leaders and industries understand this. So on the so this is sorry, Barek, stay on the same slide. I was just going to say next slide. So employees are already embracing AI and they're actually not waiting. So what's driving that is all of these statistics. And here's a bit of a standout. The top 5% of Teams users save 8 hours of meetings alone just using Copilot. So that's a full workday reclaimed. So essentially it helps people work quicker, get the job done, and it allows you time to focus on what's important in your role. So we tend to find that we are wanting to use these tools to get the mediocre, repetitive, mundane tasks that you do every day out the way to focus on what's important in your role. So essentially, if your role is to do fundraising, you know, those tasks like setting up meetings and so forth, that is time consuming, and then that essentially has the ability to drain the creative side or the energy that you need to do your role. And this is where employees are bringing this into their own workforce. So what does this essentially mean for the individuals across business that use this? So this is the BYOAI, which is Bring Your Own AI. And so this is not just exclusive to Gen Z. Of the people surveyed, 85% of Gen Zers are bringing their own AI. So essentially they're probably, or the likes of you, if you have used your AI tools and you're not using any organizational ones, you're probably using Claude, Anthropic, or ChatGPT. And a lot of that is around like summarizing communications or any form of text. You're using that to summarize, or potentially using it as a form of research. This spans across generations. So millennials were using that 29 to 43% of individuals. The statistics on the slide deck is quite high in terms of those people surveyed. So it's more than half of individuals bringing their own AI to work. So this is essentially, it's good because it's showing that need for using the tools, but also one thing that is needed to be considered is like using those tools outside of a work environment and writing press releases and so forth in another model that is not approved by an organization can have some risk associated with it. So in terms of like the Copilots of the world, that's the Microsoft enterprise AI tool. And then you've also got, if you're on Gmail, you've obviously got the likes of Gemini. This is key to this bring your own AI cohort that's going on. So what happens when individuals bring their own AI to work? When everyone uses different tools, things could potentially stop fitting together smoothly. So teams might work on documents and different applications, causing confusion over where the real version lives. Processes could get fragmented. So from using, the chat GPTs of the world, that's not, or the Anthropics and the Claudes, that's not officially approved by the organization. You could have varying versions or tone of voices lying across multiple sources. But employees are racing ahead of this because they are excited to see the real benefits of that. So why does this matter for charities, which moves on to my next slide and the next one. So the reason why this matters for charities is that it isn't just tech hype. It's already helping charities save time by taking over routine tasks, so staff can focus on what really matters, is what I mentioned before. And it's also aiding in boosting fundraising by helping these organizations like, for example, the British Heart Foundation understand their supporters better and to connect with their supporters in a more personal and effective way. So that is helping charities get clear insights as well for smarter decisions, because instead of relying on just gut instinct or multiple versions of data, whether it's feedback forms and so forth, you're almost essentially guided by data on where to spend time and money for the biggest impact in terms of your charity or organization. So funders are increasingly expecting to see this kind of modern and efficient approach, and over half of UK fundraisers say that they're being asked for proof of using digital tools like AI. And if you would like we can share the slide deck with you at the end, because it's all linked to surveys that have been done around in the industry, and you can have further research on that. So when it comes to raising more funds, CRM systems and chatbots are used together to categorize and tailor for the donors and so forth to optimize fundraising strategy. So 5% of charities are personalizing donor experiences with AI. Now, staying ahead of the change, so keeping ahead of the curve when it comes to the organization that you work for, over 53% of fundraisers ask for proof of using tools, digital tools. And this comes from research done by Blackboard UK. And then in terms of saving time and resource, as we probably know already in this industry, is that AI does allow us to save time. So that's probably one of the common things that we understand when it comes to AI. It saves me time. And then the next question is, what am I doing with that time? So 65% of UK charities do say that AI saves a lot of time on their admin tasks, like creating content and reporting. And what we see in industries is that there's three, for want of a better way to frame it. So Microsoft recognizes that businesses around the world just have three blockers to productivity. The one is the blank page scenario. So how do you get your thoughts onto paper? And so with the AI tools, you can actually ideate with your blank page scenario, and that's the same as writing communication. So that's the one, is the blank page scenario. The next one is the information labyrinth. So when you're looking at your systems and the systems that you use, how do I find information instantly at my fingertips? And the next one is how to have effective meetings. So when I talk about these concepts, some of them relate to Microsoft 365 Copilot, but some of them also tread into agents and automation. So I'm going to talk about them as a broad perspective, but I don't want the misunderstanding that just Copilot M365 can do this. It dips into agents, which is little chatbots that are pulling data. But if you have all of your ecosystem, all of your data in Microsoft, you get it at your fingertips. So that was the information labyrinth. And the effective meetings is, we'll probably, you may be able to relate to, obviously Babak and I are an AI ready organization, but previous to that, you have meetings after meetings after meetings. Now, using AI technology like Copilot may change your behavior when it comes to having meetings. So it's probably a strange concept to describe, but you might actually have more meetings, but they're much shorter, because you get the meeting minutes. I know that someone has an AI assistant here in the meeting. So whether I'm added to a meeting or not, I can follow it. And let's say I'm on holiday, I still get the meeting in the form of AI minutes. So I can just go back into it and I can get information instantaneously. So that is really about saving time and resources. And again, you have smarter decision making. So McKinsey found over 600 ways AI can help for social good, with 80% already in use around the world, enabling charities to make informed decisions. And we can send that report to you as well. And again, it has trust and reputation. So using AI ethically helps keep donor trust, and 70% of donors are in favor of charities using AI if it's done transparently. Brilliant. All right, so let's move on from the AI in terms of charity. So I'm going to talk to you about which Copilot tools are right for your charity. So there is Microsoft 365 Copilot. Now, this is the Copilot that you can see in all of your work tools. And so you can open up a PowerPoint, a Microsoft Word document, or you can open up any other application in M365, and you've got Copilot embedded into every tool that you have. So for example, with Word, you can, create draft of minutes of meetings, you can adjust text and so forth, and you can use it in PowerPoint, for example, to create slide decks. This was not actually created by AI, the slide deck that we did. I like to use my creativity in slides because I was used to that, so I did not create this slide deck via AI in 5 minutes. And that is very secure. So your AI tooling in M365 Copilot is secure by design. It inherits the same privacy as you would now within Teams, PowerPoints, SharePoint, and so forth. So what you already have access to is all that you will see when you have Copilot, that's all it will surface. Microsoft then have decided to introduce, if you don't have M365 Copilot, they've decided to introduce M365 Chat for free. So if you have Microsoft now and you see an M365 Copilot icon at the bottom of your taskbar, you can sign into that with your work account, and it's a free service. So how to describe this? It's very similar to the likes of your ChatGPT. So I'm assuming that's kind of the move in terms of providing a free service, I guess, to pull in the masses, so to speak, to continue to work in the Microsoft ecosystem. The Copilot Chat that is free is also secure by design, and it uses the Bing and Internet Graph data. So you can use that like your ChatGPTs and your Anthropics and your Claudes to ask it questions. You can upload information to it, but it also protects your data because Microsoft will not share the data with the large language model. You are not training the large language model. So anything you ask it, you're not training that language model, or you're not providing that language model that information. So on Copilot Chat, you can go into the cloud and log into your Edge browser. So that's probably the best tool that you want to use right now, is the M365 free Copilot Chat, because it's secured by Microsoft's endpoint security and data management, I believe. So that is very secure. And the paid service, which is M365 Copilot, will have, you'll see that in PowerPoint, Word, Excel, all of your M365 applications. So a good starting point is just use M365 Copilot Chat, because that's very secure by design. If you log into Edge browser, you can use that tool. And then obviously, if you decide to go with an AI tool and you go for Microsoft, then you will get all the bells and whistles when it comes to using Copilot Chat. So if we just go into the next slide, I can describe this. So I wanted to show you this M365 graph, and it does look very technical, but this is the architecture that comes around Microsoft 365 Copilot, not the free service. So you see that you've got the Copilot icon in there. And then if you look at like quite closely, it has like a number 1, it says user prompts. So you ask your Copilot a question, whether it's the chat, Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, and so forth. You ask it that prompt, which goes into Copilot. It does some grounding, which just means it's grounding in your data. It's trying to understand you. It goes through Microsoft Graph, which holds your data. And then once it understands that query, it points it to the large language model, which is closed source, and then it churns out a result. And this happens in milliseconds. And Microsoft 365 Copilot gets better as you, the more and more you use it, the better it gets. So that's like quite a key benefit of using it, M365 Copilot. So it really understands that I'm an AI user adoption consultant, and I help people use AI tools, and I work on clients XYZ. Copilot also understands that I was running this session, so I can go into my chat, I can ask it to prepare me for this meeting, what are the types of questions that people might come up with, and it will understand what Taryn works on in relation to Barback and the people I'm connected to, and give me a result that's really important for me. And this also comes down to how you use AI tools and how you ask AI a series of questions, which I will show you at the end. It's the last part of this presentation. So that comes down to the art of prompting. So Copilot, M365, all the bells and whistles. M365 Chat is just really around using like the similar to the Anthropic's, Claude's, and ChatGPTs of this world. So on the next slide, I'm just going to show you, we've broken this down for you. So if you do want the slide deck, again, we've placed all of the information when it comes to your Copilot Chat, the agents in relation to Copilot Chat, and then the whole of the M365 ecosystem there. Right, with that said, I'm going to pause there and hand over to Barback, who's going to talk to you about a case study that we recently ran.
I'm going to now talk to you about our workshop and our relationship with Inspire. So we first contacted Inspire as part of our promise that I talked about earlier, which is trying to help young people get experience and find work. And then just talking to the charity about how we could potentially work together. What I got from them is that actually they were facing some challenges with AI themselves, and ultimately they seemed to have 2 particular challenges at that time. One was that they know that their staff, that bring your own AI, BYO AI, they had that challenge. They know their staff are using AI, but how are they able to help manage that people are using it responsibly when it's being used externally, and them as an organization and as a charity getting the best out of AI. So after that meeting, Taryn and I sort of clashed heads and discussed it, and we came up with a workshop for Inspire. So we went down to their offices, we delivered a half-day workshop, And in that workshop, we broke up the organization into leadership and then and the rest of the organization, the rest of the staff. And we gave two slightly different versions of the workshop. So with the leadership team, we talked about AI governance, AI guidelines, AI readiness. We helped the leadership of the charity prepare the charity for bringing AI into the organization in a way that it can be managed and safe. Like Taryn touched on the security of Copilot Chat, which is the free version of Copilot. And ultimately, if you do have Microsoft, we strongly encourage you to use that as opposed to ChatGPT, because of the points that she raised about you're not training that model, whereas with ChatGPT you're training it. And there's a loose risk, but there's a risk that maybe there's a discussion internally, someone a bit more junior is writing an email to share a sensitive topic, and they just innocently ask ChatGPT to help them make the email more professional or more personal, like just to give it a grammar or a tone change. But actually what they inadvertently do is they give that information to ChatGPT that potentially in the future someone might ask a question about the charity, and that piece of information is now there for it to be shared because it hasn't been told that it's secure, right? So that's why we encourage people to go towards Microsoft, if you've got it, and the Microsoft Chat, because it gives you the same results. It works the same as ChatGPT, but the information is secure and within your organization. So we delivered the workshop for the senior staff to give them that sort of advice and help them to create guidelines on how they can encourage their team to use the Microsoft tool. And then we did a promptathon, which is where we give you, it's like a live interactive session to help people to get the best out of prompting and teach how to prompt. Then in the second half of the presentation, so later on that day, we went and worked with the rest of the team. We gave them a bit of an overview of what we'd discussed, but they didn't need as much detail on AI governance. We sort of gave some advice as opposed to how to implement this across the business. And then we did a much broader and a much more interactive and fun promptathon, where we had like prizes for the person that comes up with the best prompt from that day. And we give everyone some goodies, and we get people involved, and we get them to share their challenges, and we ask them to come up with prompts to resolve their challenges, and we do like live demonstrations. A really good way of getting people to understand how to use AI and how to prompt. And then the feedback from Inspire was incredible. One of their head of program here put it on their LinkedIn to thank us publicly about what we'd done. We saw their account was doing a lot about it, and in fact, actually, the marketing professional at the charity, they put a LinkedIn post out, and at the bottom they wrote that it was the first one they'd done using AI to write that post, which I quite liked. It was quite cool. So that was the first stage. We just got them AI ready, hence the name of the workshop, Get Ready for AI. So like foundation introduction. After spending some time and getting to spend some more time with the charity, we actually, now they as an organization want to be AI ready. They want AI to be integrated into everything that they're doing as a charity. So we hosted a discovery workshop, and the discovery workshop is done, we can do it online or in person. This one was done online. They sent us a picture from their offices with their senior leadership team. In person is better, but not essential. As I say, we can do them online. And ultimately what we do is we get under the bonnet of the challenges within the organization, not necessarily from an AI perspective, from an organizational perspective, but ultimately for us to help define where AI can solve the problems, what challenges it can solve. So this works by just asking simple questions like, name your tasks. What tasks do you do as individuals that you feel you could have some help with? Then once everybody's written their tasks down, we ask people to vote on the ones that are the most common. And then once we've got the votes of the most common tasks, we move it down into the next phase of the discovery workshop, where we start to ask them to break that down. So what are the pain points to blocking you from achieving this task? So we really get into the detail of how these people are, how their individuals are being challenged in their roles, because what this does is this helps us to come up with the solutions. So this would take like half a day, a couple of hours at least to get to the end of that. And then once we got there, what we did with them is we helped create a table. So we had every pain point and then the solution, the tech solution. And the reason we like to take this approach is because what we don't want charities to do, because we know for charities, and it's not the same as maybe like a large private sector business where they can afford to take the risk to give everybody Copilot. We like to understand what actually are the challenges, because, you know, actually maybe not every individual in the business needs AI or needs Copilot, especially with Copilot Chat now being free. So what we discovered in this case is actually one of the big challenges that everybody faced, and I think it's the same in every organization, charity, business in the world, was meeting efficiency. Notes prior, you know, pre-agenda notes, post tasks, post activities, recording the meeting, getting all of the data out of it. So actually Teams Premium can help solve a lot of these problems. So what we did is we advised on we worked backwards from the solutions to the roles within the business, or the charity, sorry, and then we found which tool was best suitable for the individuals to help the charity to make the most informed and cost-effective solution to bring in what they need without just blanket buying Copilot for everybody in the organization. And maybe a lot of people are only going to use 10% of its functionality. So that's one of the first steps that we think is really important, and why we delivered this discovery workshop. And that was something that we continue to work with them on. Actually, we're continuing to help. And actually what we also found, and what we're also continuing to do, is that even using the tools you've already got can really be a great starting point. And in order to get the most out of AI, you really do need to. So for example, your SharePoint, how tidy, how many have you got your safety rails on? Have you got your safeguarding on in your SharePoint, that if you bring Copilot in, it's going to align with whatever rules and data restrictions that you've already got? And if not, that would be the great starting point, which is also something that would come out of the discovery workshop. So another outcome of the discovery workshop is the persona, day in the life. So we come up with this day in the life, and we look at the sort of key pain points. So these pain points were specific to the charity. So it was team meetings and activities, as we talked about, data management, which is, I believe, a challenge everybody's having, research and outreach, bid writing and CRM integration, and content creation. And then we looked at what's the value that can be brought to improve this, right? What value is there in this if you get this right, if you improve this? So it can be time saved, it can be improved accuracy, it can be better efficiency, better decision making, greater productivity. So from there, we're able to take a typical day of a senior leader within the charity, within Inform. We broke down how their day works. What are the like key typical tasks that take place throughout a day? And then we were able to say, well, actually, these are this each technology or each solution, that, because it was Microsoft focused from Microsoft, that could help you with each of those different tasks within a typical day. And then we provided some prompts that would help get you on the way to resolving that challenge, to overcoming that task. And it's all part of moving the Inspire charity from being like AI ready to an AI organization that uses AI day to day for efficiency across every department, every individual, all the way throughout. So that where charities, I think, more than any organization or any industry, the big challenge is resource, how to use resource. And I always refer to resource as both money and people. They're the two primary resources that most organizations have. So how are you able to get the most out of those resources? Well, productivity tools like Microsoft Copilot are a great solution for that. But how, before you just make that decision, you need to understand who actually needs it and how will it help. So with that, what we'd like to do now is just sort of wrap this up with a demonstration or an explanation, which is the sort of prompt engineering skills, right, Taryn? I don't want to give it away before I get to the slide, but so it's like, yeah, prompt engineering skills.
Thank you, Babak. And thanks for sharing the workshop that we ran. I just wanted to also mention on that as well, because it might feel like this big mountain to climb if you have looked into the costs associated with Copilot, M365 Copilot. So when you look into it, it says it's like $33 per month. I can't work out the math in the pounds right now, but it's not actually per month. So it's this upfront yearly cost per person, per user, per license. So if you want 10 licenses as an example, or if you need 100 licenses, that is a big cost to find to just get Copilot. So again, just back to those workshops, you can look at an individual, like where is the most value when it comes to, if you want to go for the likes of Copilot, where are those high value tasks? Who are those people in the organization, and who will benefit from the most of it? And I always just break it down to say that if you are in the business to make cars and you give people a license, essentially that business should produce more cars. So who are those personas? What are the departments that are going to benefit from that? And so we're not here to sell Copilot, but we are lean more towards the expertise in that sense. So don't feel, if you really want to, go on the Copilot journey, it doesn't have to be like give it to everyone at first. So that's kind of what I wanted to say on that.
Sorry, Taryn, it's just it's a good point there, because we often sound like brand ambassadors for Microsoft and Copilot, which we're not. It's just a tool that we really like.
Yeah, and if you're on LinkedIn, everyone's like selling the dream of Copilot. So don't feel left behind. The narration is coming from the big players. We are just happen to fall in the Copilot expert space, and I do happen to work for consult with the big brands, but we are technology agnostic. So again, Google's Gemini is it's very similar to the other tools that we talk about. So let's actually look at how to get the best of AI, whether you are using it in your personal life or whether you are using M365 Copilot Chat. Now, this GCSE model, if you are UK based and you have nieces, nephews, or children approaching their GCSEs, is probably quite easy to remember what it is. So GCSE: goal, context, source, and expectation. So what is the goal that I want? What's the context to why I'm asking the prompt? Where do I want it to look? And what is the expectation? So how do I want this returned to me? Expectation actually is quite a good one to try and include in every query you ask PromptAI, every query you ask any AI tool, because you can say, like, I'm writing this to a global audience. Please return this to me in a language that is easily understood by a global audience around the world. Or this is a really technical concept that I'm trying to describe. Please return this to me in a tone and a language that is non-technical for end users. And you can adjust your prompts as you describe to the tool like what you want to do. So even if you are using like the other tools in your personal life, you can actually start to drill down and perfect the results that you get. As an example, I actually managed to trace like a family member historically via ChatGPT, just in my personal life, and found out that I'm a quarter Greek. And that was last week. So stay tuned for my next live event coming to you from Athens in the future. But I'm going to show you an example of what M365 looks like. It's quite difficult to share anything without showing private information around our clients, because my Copilot is in my PromptAI. So I've brought up a Word document to just show you what that looks like in real time for Copilot. So so this is M365 Copilot that I'm going to show you. Now, what it does is, there is something up here discussing my MRI scan for my spine. So it is what it is, because I have a spinal injury, hence I'm standing. But it gives me a series of prompts here to get started with. so this is your M365 Copilot. I have it to the right-hand side, and it brings up the box here. So I'm going to put in a prompt for you and just show you this in action. So just remember that I help people use Copilot. So I don't tend to do this, but let's see how it will turn out the results for me. So I'm going to ask it to create a 20-minute training session on Copilot for an audience that is new to Copilot. I just say they are beginners. So I like to talk to Copilot as if it is my assistant. But when you get started with it, you probably want to talk to it as if it's like your intern, because your assistant knows you, and Copilot gets better as you use it. So when I first start, it's my intern or any AI model, and as it gets better, it becomes my assistant. So I can also add references to other content. So let's say I've done something like this before. I can add it here, and it will have a look at that and create this for me. And I've got 3 dots here for more options. If I hit /, it actually says that I can put in anything, my files, meetings, and emails. I can't bring that up for not wanting it to bring up other information. So what it does is it really understands that this is what I do. And so it has started to create this template for me. Now, it's not exactly perfect, but it's a good starter. And I can actually say on this, so I'm looking at it, looks good. It's giving me real world examples. It's literally got the minutes down to the T. So it's like 13 minutes to 17 hands-on activity and. But it knows that I do this. So it's able to like churn it out really quickly. However, if it does, the results are really, really quick anyways. So I could just look here. So appendix, so I can say remove the appendix sample. And then I want to do that again, and it will just refine the draft again. And I'm going to keep that as well. So I've got this, and you think about other items you can use this for. You can ask it to create like a minutes of meeting template. And so here you've got 1 of 1, 2 of 2, and I can ask to have another go at it, regenerate it, and I can choose which one I want. Then I can say keep it. And so I can further like have a look at this. I can then say, okay, well, on this one, I highlight it, click on my Copilot. I want that to be a table. And then I just keep adjusting and perfecting. It does the table. And the time's not exactly right, but I can then work on that myself. So it's just like that, the blank page scenario that it's helping me with. It's just I can't get my thoughts down onto paper. It's given me a good starter for 10, and then I can say keep it, and I can keep moving along. So that is the difference between just that chat that you have, where you've got it embedded in all of your tools. And then if we just look here as well, you've got Copilot to the right on any tool that you have. So for example, if you've received a presentation or Word document, you're going to have a call with a particular individual who's external to you. You can then ask Copilot to prepare you for the meeting using this document. You can ask it, what are the types of questions that this individual are going to ask me? You can then also ideate and do research on that, the person or organization that you're calling, and so forth. And it just helps you do those repetitive tasks really quickly without taking away the energy to do the job that you're in the business to do. So it helps that kind of alleviate the burnout from repetitive tasks, so to speak. So then at the bottom here, now I'm not logged in because I have a work this is a work profile. So if you are looking to your computers right now, at the bottom, you've got that M365 Copilot Chat. And then if you click there to the taskbar, you might have it somewhere here. So if you want to click on that, and then if you log in with your work accounts, it should allow you to do that as long as IT have turned it on. Then you are using the free service outside of the paid service that we spoke about, which is the likes of your chat GPTs and so forth. Okay, so at the top of my screen, you see work. Unfortunately for privacy, I can't click on that because it will bring up recommendations on stuff I've worked on. But this is what you would just be seeing as your web version. Now, if you've got M365 Copilot, you can click on work, but it will still pull in from the web. So I can ask it about running this workshop with your in relation to this meeting, but I can also ask it to then research information on the current AI landscape when it comes to charities making use of AI tools, which is what I did essentially before this call. But always check for accuracy. Make sure what it gives you returns the results that you're looking for, and click on the links and check those facts and use your own judgment as you have done so before. We can become quite desensitized to just taking it, copying it, and pasting it. And if you're on LinkedIn, you may see a lot of people talking about the same topic and churning it out via AI. If everyone's asking for the same results and just copy pasting the returns, that's called the echo chamber. So everything kind of starts to sound a bit like similar. So if other charities are doing similar, you want to think about adjusting your tone and so forth when using it. So when I message Copilot, I can ask it anything. It's pulling in from the Internet of Things. And I think this is just asking me, it's brought up because this is what is on my Bing or my Edge. And I'm just going to hit send. So summarize each news article. I don't know what it's pulling up, but it's there and it does it. So that's brief news today on my Bing, which I don't actually. So it's cryptocurrency. It must have been a highlight in my chat. And then I can just keep asking questions and so forth, like send me the links to this and so, and. So it's really good for ideating. These tools that you use that aren't embedded into your Microsoft ecosystem, it's not just a tool to help you write better. It's a tool to help you ideate, to research, to fact check, to brainstorm, to ask for a differing opinion, to validate what you're saying is correct, and so forth. So it's more than just a better way to write communication methods.
Wonderful. Thank you ever so much for your time today, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Yeah, same everyone. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Brilliant.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, everybody.
Speak soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.